I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, welcome everyone. We will call this meeting to order at 7:02. Mr. Deputy Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Vaughn Crooks.
Here.
Benedetti.
Here.
Cabawatton.
Present.
LaFever.
Here.
Pate.
Here.
Perugi.
Present.
Arzepa.
Here.
Quorum present, Mayor Arzepa.
Thank you very much. We'll move right on here to the approval of the minutes from the February 18th, 2020 regular meeting.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, is unanimously so ordered. Nothing under presentations and proclamations. So we have, if there's any public comment regarding items on the agenda today, please introduce yourself with your name and address. You have 5 minutes to speak. Seeing none, we will move right on along there. No bid openings, no petitions, no appointments, no commissions, boards, committees. So we are down to the 33rd District Court fines, costs, and fees for January 2020, and I will defer to our delegate, Councilman LaFever.
Thank you, Mayor Zappa. I make a motion that we receive and place on file the fines, costs, and fees for January 2020, which shows the city of Trenton owing the court $3,913.75.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, is unanimously so ordered. Next up, groups and organizations. Mr. Deputy Clerk, do you mind handling these ones here?
Okay, so we have a motion to grant permission to the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 426 and the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 1888 to distribute poppies in the city of Trenton on May 7th, 8th, and 9th of 2020 under the direction of the police department.
I would so move.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, is unanimously so ordered. Then we'll have you take care of the next one here, too.
Okay, and we have a motion to approve the Refuge Gateway Grand Opening event on May 9th, 2020, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Detroit River International Wildlife Refuge Visitor Center at 5437 West Jefferson Avenue with supervision of volunteers under the direction of the police and fire department.
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have support
Or
there?
supported, whichever.
Moved and supported. All right, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, is unanimously so ordered. Thank you very much. Next up, department heads and officials, our city engineer, Mr. Hogan.
Thank you. Before you is a petition by Mr. Russo to combine his lots that he owns on 2165 South Trenton Drive, Lot 591 and 592 of Bretton Woods Sub. My recommendation is to refer this petition to the Planning Commission for their review and recommendation.
I would so move. Support.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, is unanimously so ordered. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Next up is an item here from me, a proposed council study session. I'm asking for a motion from the council here to schedule a study session on Monday, March 16th, following the regular council meeting for the purpose of discussing medical marijuana facilities.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, is unanimously so ordered. It'll be after next meeting there. So we're going right on down here, and we will turn over to Mayor Pro Tem Benedetti for disbursement statements and reports here.
Make a motion to approve the authorized disbursements March 2nd, 2020, in amount of $649,042.63.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered.
Make a motion to approve the historical commission minutes from January 13th, 2020, and the planning commission minutes dated October 9th, 2019.
Mr. Chair, I'll be abstaining from the second item.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
if we can do it second, then we'll roll call the second.
Change my motion to approve the historical commission minutes for January 13th, 2020.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, is unanimously so ordered.
And then we'll move on to the planning commission minutes dated October 9th, 2019.
Support.
Moved and supported. And if we could get a roll call vote there for them, Mr. Deputy Clerk.
Okay. Benedetti?
Yes.
Cabawatton?
Abstain.
LaFever?
Yes.
Pate?
Yes.
Perugi?
Yes.
Arzepa?
Yes.
Vaughn Crooks?
Yes.
Motion carried. Mayor Arzepa?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilman Benedetti. So we are all the way down now into other council business here, and I know last week I started with Councilwoman Von Crooks, correct?
Did you?
I think so.
Yeah, because we forgot.
We might have, I don't remember, but.
Okay, yes, I
Yeah,
did
you did,
because I
'cause you
forgot
forgot
Scott
me.
at the end. That's right, yep, okay, now I remember. So, painful memory here, but I appreciate it. So, we'll start then with Councilman Benedetti here.
The only thing I have tonight, Mayor, is to let the people know, let the residents know that, so talk to the county today, they're still working on trying to figure out what to do with the fence issue. I was told that they're gonna have something, hopefully that the residents who turned in claims should be hearing something by the end of next week, we hope.
Great. And yeah, I had that same conversation with Commissioner Palmera, and I'd left a message with Andy Candrivas last Friday. They did say that they were going to be mailing out information to all the homeowners effective at some point this week, and that came right from the chief of staff at the county. So hopefully we'll have some resolution there. It's been a slow and painful process, but we'll get through it.
Yep.
So do you have anything tonight?
No, sir, I do not.
Thank you very much. Councilman LaFever.
Yeah, I did notice a couple neighbors were getting their fences repaired today. I hope that was a county expense, not their expense.
I would assume it's at theirs. I left the one right off of Grow, before Grow. I left him a note to call me because I was going to ask him if he's doing that or not. But we were told we could fix them and keep receipts, so
Good. All right,
we'll
good.
see where it goes from there.
I appreciate all the work that you've done, and Mayor, you too, helping the residents out with that deal. It's a good deal. I do want to congratulate one of the newest grandmas in town. That's Debbie Devitt, his new grandson, and I hope she follows the way of Karen Saul, being a grandma. And in that case, that grandson will be a great place to be. But congratulations to Debbie and her daughter.
Great.
And that's really it for me tonight.
Great. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Peruggi.
Yes, a couple items. One is for you, Mr. Mayor. Is any update on the viaduct situation?
So I didn't get one in the last week, but I had called in a previous conversation with Wayne County the week prior to ask essentially what's going on with that, because I had not, since I've become mayor, I have not received a single communication from them about what's going on. I was told at the time that, because I think at this point, when I had spoke with them, the barricades had been set up, however, no work had been done, and that was due to the weather. And I know that they've been out there working on it quite a bit over the last week and a half or so, but I don't know what the timeline is on that to be totally complete and good to go. Mr. Hogan, have they been in touch with you at all? Okay, and so they haven't given any kind of scope or time frame whatsoever. So that's something I'm going to push along on, hopefully probably again maybe later this week or early next week if I don't hear anything.
Okay, and I have another item for Mr. Hogan. There was some tree work done on south of Marion and the Franklin Poet, and they had some trucks that stuck back in the field there. Now, if there's damage to the field, does the city require them to repair that, notify you? Because I have a couple of neighbors that are not happy about the ruts that are back there now.
I'm not aware of it. Is this County Drain Commission work?
No, it was a private homeowner getting some trees chopped down.
I'm not aware of it. I can look into it, though.
Okay, I can.
Yeah, they would be responsible for the restoration.
Okay, if you want to have one of your crew take a look back there, see what kind of damage they did, and I can give you all the information you need to move forward with it.
Any idea when this occurred?
Occurred Friday, Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hogan. That's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Beatty.
Okay, I am going to do some shout outs to the kids out there because this has been my life for the last couple weeks. The Trenton swim team is currently the league champions for the first time in a few years, and that is probably one of the most exciting sports events I have ever been to. Every single race, you are screaming at the top of your lungs for those kids to beat somebody by 100th of a second, and it was really fun. And some of those boys will continue on to the states. Also, I believe, so now I have to, because my son's on the swim team, I have to then say for everybody else too. So I have heard or seen that the Trenton hockey team is advancing to the regionals. They are also league champs. No, I'm sorry. Swim is league champs. They're advancing to the regionals. The Trenton girls basketball has the Downriver League title, so good luck in the playoffs to them. And the robotics team has won a creativity award, and they were chosen to be in an alliance, I'm assuming, with another team over the past week. So congratulations to all the kids and all their activities. And if I missed one, please send me a note so I can say something next time. Also, on my Facebook page, I put, and also on the city government page, we have a census update. So now that it is March, it looks like they are going to be sending out some kind of online or mailer to you to respond for the census. You could do it online. There's also paperwork that you can also fill out that you may be getting in the mail. If you haven't returned that information or responded, they're going to give you reminder letters, and then also by April 27th, if you still haven't responded, they are going to start an in-person location for people that they may have missed to count. And then I'll try and continue to post more information about that process that SEMCOG has given us a toolkit for. Also, the time change. Happy spring, it's March, and there is a daylight savings event on March 8th, so set your clocks. Thank you.
Normally, I hate losing that hour of sleep,
I do
but
too.
I
It's the worst.
absolutely love that extra hour of sunshine at the end of the day. So,
Thank you.
yep, thank you very much, Councilwoman Pate. Councilman Cabo-Watton, I didn't forget this time, I promise.
Great. I'd like to thank the folks over at the wastewater treatment plant. I had an opportunity to go tour that the other day. Very informative and a good group of folks down there, so I'd like to thank them for their hospitality down there. And also, I noticed that Wayne County has issued their 2020 schedule for household hazardous waste. It's a great event if you haven't been to that. You have household items, paints, and things that you need to discard of. Please take advantage of one of those opportunities, because we don't want to see that kind of stuff end up in our waterways or in our landfills. So, other than that, I'm just happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Last but certainly not least, Councilwoman Bunkratz.
No, everything's been said. I have nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Well, lastly, I just had two things. One was being the fence updates. Thank you, Councilman Benedetti, for that. The other thing I wanted to talk about with everyone here was the fireworks. So Councilman LaFever had asked me at I think it was the last council meeting, what was going on with that, and I had that, oh crap, something actually has to happen for that. I don't know what normally goes into that. So started talking about it, and so Director Voss and Joanne, if you guys wanted to come to the podium. So we had, at the department head meeting we had on Friday, I kind of pretty much just laid out there and said, hey, what do we need to do to get started on talking about this? And they had raised some concerns about this year's fireworks, and I just wanted them to be able to lay it out here for a little bit, so we could talk about it as a group before we went ahead with any decisions or anything like that. But I felt that the information they gave was pretty valid of what those challenges may be, and I think if we can find some solutions to make this happen, that would be great. So, Director Voss, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, we were talking about the meeting, and to our best knowledge, and Mr. Hogan, I know we received an email from Mr. Hogan today, it looks like West Road is going to be closed. Right, Bill? June 30th? Yeah. It's going to be closed at the bridge by the ice rink. With that said, we also believe, and we won't know this because it's another city, but Van Horn Road will also be closed at the Marsh Creek crossing by the 33rd District Court at the same time. With that said, we also know that the Grosville Bridge will be closed. And quite frankly, I'm a little leery and scared about what's going to happen with the viaduct. I'm just trying to be a realist by watching what's been going on there. Now, of course, I've always been a supporter of the fireworks, but I have a genuine concern that it's going to be a Saturday, and we can expect a very large crowd. And quite frankly, I don't know how we're going to get people in and out if we can't use West Road as our main artery to get them back to I-75, as well as we can't use Van Horn Road. From what it looks like, we won't be able to use Van Horn. And the Grosville Bridge, obviously the Grosville Bridge is not as much of a concern for the fireworks because you're not going to get as many residents probably that will come over to view the fireworks. But with that said, I think we have to at least talk about it and see if it's worth what could be a logistical nightmare.
And the other things that we talked about that is of concern is the water level of the Detroit River. Last year, we all know that we had water in the parking lot. We were able to, the Department of Public Service worked very hard to allow last year's show to go off, but it took a great deal of manpower and effort to continually pump. They had to rent a pump to get the water out of the parking lot area. And the prediction is that the water level this year is going to be even higher than it was last year. So that is of concern as far as, because that's usually the staging area that we have for the fireworks as well. Something that, considering from a budgetary standpoint, that we'll have to look at is that this year it does fall, the 4th of July does fall on a Saturday, and so that would require setup being on a overtime, the holiday, and then also clean up on a Sunday, which is a double time day. So those are, again, other concerns that you as a body will have to consider with respect to the fireworks. So those were, I think, were pretty much the, I don't know if there's something else I'm missing, Mayor?
No, I think that's all correct. And what I basically just wanted was,
With all that said, from experience, all 4 of these could be open too.
Right.
I'm just telling you, I mean,
Sure.
that's,
No, that's 100% correct. And, they brought these concerns to me, and I just said that, well, okay, since we have to start planning for these things now, I didn't want to go ahead and make any decisions and then have anyone say, Steve, what were you thinking? What's going on here? And have no idea why. But Councilwoman Von Crooks, did you have something there?
Well, I'm kind of going to look at the glass half full, because we don't know how much rain. We had an extreme amount of rain last year, and that was a problem with the water, but that's never happened before. All our businesses are not going to close down because West Road's going to be closed down at the Franklin Poet. I mean, Trenton will not close down because of all this stuff, and I'd be very sad to think that we're not going to do the fireworks. I mean, we still have King Road and Sibley if they want to get out to 75. Maybe with the bridge closed down in Grosse Ile, we won't have as much influx of people coming from Grosse Ile. That could happen. I don't want to be pessimistic about this, and I think if we can raise the funds, we should do them to a certain extent. I'm always out for the fireworks, so I understand some concerns, but we don't know any of these, I mean, if we see where it's a really, really big problem, then maybe we, would have to not do them, but.
right, and Kimber, I'm glasses half full too.
Right.
Yeah.
But the West Road is, I mean, I'm thinking now too, we don't control county projects too,
No.
but the Jazz Festival, I just don't see, we push out thousands of cars in an hour.
Right.
So,
Right.
maybe they can keep it open, maybe they can start their project, if some,
Well, maybe they started after the 4th of July. Yeah.
July 6th, which
Right,
would be Monday,
exactly. If they're looking at a projection of June 30th, what's the difference if they start, and we could petition them and talk to, Commissioner
But it's something we
Palomera?
should be talking about now.
Right, because we've got to raise the funds. We have some major donors that have always been very supportive of us, and I just hate to drop the ball now and not do it. And with all this stuff bad that's happening with the roads and different things, I mean, I think people look forward to this and the festivals and different things. So we only have a short window of fun with our weather, and in the summer, I just hate to see us not do them. So I'll do what I can to support it, but I'm just letting you know where I stand. I don't know how anybody else feels, but.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that. And I think you hit the nail on the head there, too. The fireworks themselves are paid through very generous contributions
Right.
from a lot of our sponsors across the community and even outside the community. But it's and I guess, Mrs. Saul, I know we had spoken about that before, but what was the rough overtime number that we would have for that weekend? Because that is our cost for the event. And again, like I said, I didn't want to go ahead with all these concerns being raised to make a decision without everyone being privy to the information that I got.
So the employee costs for this year, just because of the weekend situation, would be close to $19,000.
Okay.
And if there's a pump rental, that would be added on to that, and then
But also, the police and fire don't change. The
Yours
police and
stayed the
fire
same as the
contracts,
DPW
they'll get a double time
contract
and a
is
holiday
very
no matter
different.
what. If it's Saturday or Sunday or Monday, it doesn't matter.
Councilman LaFever?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what day it is, it's always double time, okay?
Exactly.
So forget that.
It's a holiday.
But we've gotten through it all these years, okay? And just remember that the public contributions average somewhere between $30,000 and $75,000 in the past. Whether it be the public or a corporate company, somebody in town has paid that expense for us, okay? The crowds are big, they come down, everybody enjoys them, okay? And if they can't get down there because some bridge is closed, they won't come. But I talked to Brian Lopez over in Grosse Ile, asked him about his, he said, why would we cancel our fireworks? I said, well, West Road is going to be a problem, and Van Horn, and the pre-bridge, we're having them. We're having a festival, and they're having their fireworks. So the people love them. Why would I cancel them? I said, I know they're just talking Trenton, we may cancel ours, okay? He said, wow. But I'm a big supporter of them. I understand people who don't like them, that's fine. That's really fine. If you don't like them, that's fine. But don't, we have the same conversation every year. Every year. The same old deal. We can't do this, we can't afford it, we can't do this, we can't do that, okay? I'd like to see the overtime budget, okay? How much money is in police and fire and the breakdown, okay?
I can give you a rough number, I'm sure close to
that?
it. I can give you a rough number.
Bill,
Yeah, how much is it for the fire?
for the fire, just 1,000 for the fire.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have my microphone on, I'm
The
sorry.
police is 18,000?
No, the police department is about 12,000 and the DPW is about 5,500.
Okay, great, thank you.
And they get paid double time on Sunday for the cleanup. That's why it's so much more this year for the DPW.
All right, thank you. I think it's well worth it. The citizens enjoy it, and I'm a strong supporter. Okay. And we should have really had it done by now, to be honest with you. Joanne knows this thing should have been done back in February, early February.
I have reached out to Ace
you have.
Pyro, and they are holding the date for the city, and we need to notify them by the end of,
Right.
probably within the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Sergi?
Yes, so what prohibits us from doing it on Thursday? The potential cost savings. It'd be July 2nd.
I hadn't considered that, to be honest.
Then you're cleaning up on a Friday, which is not the overtime issue for a week.
It is a
The Friday
holiday.
would. The Friday still
Friday's
is
a
because
holiday.
it's an observed holiday,
Okay,
because
fine.
the 4th falls
All right.
on it. Yeah, I mean, I frankly don't know Karen, do you have any rough idea how that may change things? I mean, I know kind of an unfair question to lob at you in the middle of it.
No, that's okay. Like I said, the police and the fire would not change. It's just the DPW. And last year, theirs was about $3,000 less than the estimate for this
Okay.
weekend. So it would save about
I
$3,000.
mean, at that rate, I would say it's probably not worth $3,000 to switch around just for, what that may cost.
It's nice to have it on the weekend.
Yeah.
Families don't have
Yeah.
to get up for work, and it's nice.
Right, I think, that's fair. So, I mean, I think at that point, if we're going to do it, we might as well just keep it on the 4th, but that's a fair question. Does Councilwoman Pate?
I'm on the fence on this. I am a resident that lives on the water, well, close enough to the water to see them in our front yard. It's a great time. We have lots of people come over and friends, and, we have a great time. The conversation just changed from the cost from public safety, though, and I think that's the concern that we should be thinking about. And the fireworks were canceled one year, and we came back. We brought them back the following year, and that was more of a budgetary reason, I think, at that point. But now this could be a public safety issue. So, I think if we have to cancel them. But with the thought that you put a good public communication out as to why, and they'll be back next year or something like that. And I'm not sure what other than just the fun of it, which again I benefit from that. But I don't know, do our businesses benefit enough from that to, put the public safety at risk in this case? So now, is this something that we vote on to decide to move forward? Or do we just give you an idea of what we're looking for?
I don't think we need
don't
a
know.
formal vote on it, just because the fireworks themselves are done through contribution, so we don't actually expend anything. And this would just be built in as part of the budget.
So it's just giving you an
overtime-wise.
okay
So
as
yeah,
to-
it's just, I didn't want to make the decision myself without everyone else getting the same information that I got.
What is the absolute last, we can return donations if it turns out that these dates are going to happen, because I'm more of a, your glass full, I'm always accused of glass empty. So is there a timeline where we can say, okay, by such and such date, we have to cancel them, like we can plan for it? hold those donations in escrow or
Do you
something?
happen to know that, Joanne?
Well, I think that we do need to make a commitment to Ace Pyro, which is the fireworks company. When I reached out to Drew from the company, it was about a week and a half ago or so that I reached out, and he said, I think by the end of this month, we have to commit one way or the other to Ace Pyro. So otherwise, if they're not going to they won't hold the date for us, because it is a perfect storm for them, because it is on the 4th of July falls on a Saturday. So because of that, he has more shows on a Saturday on this year, I think, than normal, because of the way the calendar falls.
And then also thinking out of the box like Nelson, perhaps this would be something that we attach onto, and I got in trouble for brainstorming out loud before, but if it's something we attach to, let's say, the street fair, because that's late enough. I know Detroit does theirs sort of late June, changing that date. People are already down here. It might be before the roads clear. Maybe we have a smaller something after one of the bands are playing, and that, but I know you do miss out on the July 4th experience, but, or we could plan a totally different event as a community. Like we could have something happen at the pool. We could have a special, family picnic for celebration or something. Just, plan a celebration for the fireworks still for the people, but then not have the fireworks.
I'd like to comment too that it seems as if maybe there's a misunderstanding. It's not trivial that West Road will be closed. If West Road is closed,
Right.
I am telling you, working these fireworks for the last 26 years, one of them we didn't because we didn't have them, you're going to have a problem. Okay, all of our traffic, the people that have worked the traffic, I hope to God I'd like to have them, I hope to God it's not closed. Because if we have them, it is going to be a problem. Because we will have to shut West Road down at 4th Street. We will not allow thousands of cars to go into our neighborhoods. There's no way. Because that would be a huge problem.
Okay.
And if Van Horn is closed, and we have to send everybody to Sibley through the Jefferson or through the 4th Street outlet, it's going to take 3 to 4 hours. If we have the same crowd. Right now, it's an hour 15, hour 25. We'll at least double.
Did anyone else from council have a?
Well,
Councilman Bunkers.
we need to know, I think, right away if we're going to do them, for sure. And also, Kyle had sent out over 200 letters to everybody.
And that's a big part of it.
That's
too,
what I'm
yeah.
saying, like, who will tack on that job and send out for the sponsorships and whatever. And her and I think Councilman LaFever signed the letters because they did it together. So maybe the clerk's office or somebody could, get the letters out to the former sponsors and, see what kind of money we have and see what we're going to do. But I still say, I'm not looking at the worst-case scenario. I don't want to do it on another day. I want to do it on the 4th of July. And Nelson and Whitney bring up good ideas for different things, but we don't have that many events that go on in the summer here. Why put everything into one street fair weekend or one boat race weekend or whatever? We need to space this stuff out so we can have a lot of events for the summer and for family events. So I'm still all for it, and I'll help out in any way I can with the sponsorships and do whatever I can to make it happen.
Sure.
So.
No, and I certainly appreciate that both you and Councilman LaFever have obviously been huge proponents
Well,
of
we've
this.
been
and
working on
huge
it for
helps
years,
sponsors,
so.
so that's awesome. So I'll go Nelson, then Rick here.
Go ahead.
So Director Voss, so you're comfortable with if we can get the project for 4th Street, or the West Jefferson project after the 4th of July, you'd feel more comfortable?
Yeah, nothing changes then. Yeah, if West Road's open, absolutely. It's the
So-
same as every year.
So then we need to talk to the county.
Right.
That's I literally wrote this on my to-do list, so maybe I'll just kind of I don't mean to catch you. up.
No, but that's all I need to bring up
We can't talk
is-
about Woodhaven, but
Yep.
if the Van Horn project was put off a few days too, that would help quite a bit too.
So what I'm hearing is, and I'm certainly okay with this, we'll continue with the fireworks as planned, everything. I'm going to call the county, see if they can wait 1 week on that project. And I mean,
That'd be great.
they might be doing that accidentally anyway. So,
Well, they're waiting on the viaduct now anyway,
you never know.
so,
So,
Viaduct gonna be open by then?
yeah.
yeah, and so there's a lot of
If
moving
the
parts.
viaduct's not open, we won't have a large crowd, so we
Sure.
don't have to worry about that.
Sure. So unless there's any sort of objections to that, and then I'll get, see what records we have from previous sponsorship letters. Councilman LaFever, if you wanted to sign off on those as well, too, would certainly be more than happy to get the ball rolling. But like I said, I just wanted everyone to be on the same page, get to hear the same things that I did. So I wasn't going it alone, then having everyone wonder why, like, oh, we had all these red flags, why'd you make this choice here? So, I think, Rick, did you have something?
Nelson
And then Bill,
took care of that.
Okay.
I was asking the same thing.
Councilman.
I wonder if Karen could provide a list of who's contributed and how much money we have.
Sure.
So we would know who does that. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have anything on that? All right. Thank you guys very much.
I agree.
Well, I don't have anything else for this evening. I figured I'd drag it on for just a little bit for everyone, right? So we'll move on to our other elected officials here. Mr. Deputy Clerk, do you have anything for us tonight?
I have a few things. Just congratulations to our city clerk, Devitt, on the birth of her first grandson. Our next regular council, next regular council meeting is Monday, March 16th at 7 p.m. And also the presidential primary election is Tuesday, March 10th. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And also the clerk's office will be open Saturday, March 7th from 8:30 to 5 for any residents who'd still like to vote by absentee. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Assessor.
Thank you, members up and council members. I would just like to remind the viewers that the March Board of Appeals start next week. The day sessions are March 10th, 12th, and 13th from 9 a.m. to noon and 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The evening sessions are March 11th and 17th, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. All meetings are here at Trenton City Hall in the Commission's Room. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. See, Mr. McCullough, you got anything for us? Nothing tonight. All right, fantastic. One thing I did forget to mention as part of mine was, so for our study session after the meeting on the 16th, if there's any questions that anyone knows they have, like ahead of time or anything, if you could get those to Scott by the end of this week so that we can start having attorneys prepare for that so that we have the most information we can possibly get then, that would be great. So next up, any department heads?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to announce the Trenton Hockey Association and the Kennedy Recreation Center are proud this weekend to host the Squirt State Finals. So all 10U state finals in the state of Michigan will be held over at the Kennedy Recreation Center this weekend. Trenton Hockey Association, I seem like every time I come up here I'm asking for volunteers, is looking for volunteers and help this weekend. If anybody is available, the easiest way is to go on the Facebook page of the Trenton Hockey Association. They do have a sign-up genius going for that. If you want to come down and catch some great hockey, it'll be fun to do so as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any other department heads? I didn't know if you were tagging back in, John, or what. It's like, oh, okay. Really want to make sure people get to the board of review. So, all right, so no other department heads. So at this time, we'll have public comment. Any member of the public wishing to speak, you have 5 minutes. Please give your name and address at the beginning. Direct all questions through me, the chair. And with that, Dr. Doyle from Trenton Public Schools coming up here. No offense, but I am going to use the timer. I just am really excited to use it since I haven't had many opportunities yet. So.
All right, so you're giving me a go signal right there. Good evening, members of the council and Mayor Zepp, and thank you for the introduction. Again, I'm Dr. Mike Doyle, Community Liaison Director of Trenton Public Schools. Just a few things. Head Kane Anderson, the gym, calf, music areas are being fully utilized by students. Those new additions are being utilized. They're amazing. Just amazing what we've done. The old gyms at both of those elementary schools will be turned into media centers, and the old kitchens will be turned into instructional spaces. Now, if you go by the high school, you can see we got quite a few things going on. And I wanted to use this opportunity to let people know what they're looking at. The south area of the high school, right off there, West Road, that's going to be where our new pool goes. We're also have a lot of heavy equipment in our track area right now because we're going to be redoing our track and we're going to be redoing our football field. So again, I want to use this opportunity to let the community know, the viewers all know that our track is closed, of course, because we're doing construction. We have all that heavy equipment out there. We'll be working on a community entrance at the high school. Again, the football, baseball, softball fields. We're going to remodel our media center, our auto tech area. We're also going to be putting up some netting from our softball field to protect people at the stadium. What's happening at the middle school is we're going to be building some STEM areas, and STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, with some collaborative spaces. We're going to work on the tennis courts, and those tennis courts will have the ability to be pickleball courts. We're going to put a new track up there. We're going to remodel the music room and the media center. I know I said a lot because I can see the timer there ticking. We'll be having an open house in the fall of 2021, and I'll make sure, I'll get here more often. Just this year I had a lot going on Monday nights, and let everybody know. And, we want to invite, of course, as a city council mayor, when we have our open houses in the fall. Additional information can always be found at the Trenton School website. That's www.trentonschools.com, and we have a Facebook page as well, Trenton Public Schools. And then the last thing here is, the schools in this city, I know we're going to work together here with the 2020 census. That's important to us. I want to remind people, and we're going to work to let people know that it impacts the schools, it impacts the city, everybody to participate in that census 2020. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Doyle.
How'd I do?
Time to... you had 2.5 minutes to go still.
Hey, tell him he'll go back up.
I didn't know what would happen when I turned it to 0. I didn't know if it would start going off there, but...
Did the microphone just cut off? Or?
Yeah. Oh, it's because the volume was turned down, so good. Any other members from the public wishing to speak?
My name's Barbara Galloway, 3065 Harrison. Couple things. The hospital, do we have any updates on what's going on with that, or what?
So we're currently in litigation right now. The owner is suing us. I don't know how much detail I can go in on that, but hopefully, by the sounds of it, we may have more to update in 2 weeks. Would that be fair to say, Mr. Church? Or I guess, Mr. Ackerman, if you can give any kind of update that you can, all things considered, that'd certainly be appreciated.
We're working through it.
Pardon me?
We're working through this. Right now, there's a motion to hold the plaintiff and his counsel in contempt for not paying the receiver fee. They filed a motion for an expedited hearing without the transcript in the Court of Appeals, which we said we'd be very happy to get an expedited hearing and a prompt affirmance so we can go back and get this done. It's the goal of everybody at this table to get this done and have that as a viable, positive piece to the community every day. If I don't get a call from Scott every day, I get really worried he's sick. We're really on it.
Okay.
It's very frustrating to us.
I just have one other
Apologize
question.
that that's fairly vague, but it's just unfortunately the
No, I know, there's only
I can give
so
you my
much.
personal feelings, but unfortunately on camera, then I am liable to be
Don't do that if he's
deposed.
suing us already.
I'd really like to put all the pleadings on your public record so you can see how disturbing the situation is.
Sure.
Some of them, you saw the doctor's, the deposition was awful. It was, the comments made by the doctor were awful, and disrespect for the community just is overwhelming. At the same time, we're a democracy, small d democracy, and we're a republic, a small r republic, where our elected officials try to speak on our behalf. And we have this tremendous desire to protect property rights. And courts are really reticent. They're really opposed to taking away people's property rights. But here, I think that there's reasonable public safety factors involved that overwhelm our desire to protect our private property interest.
Thank you. I just have one other question. If someone wants to call about a neighbor or a house that they notice that really is in disrepair, not being taken care of, really not representing, it doesn't have to be perfect, but some houses I've noticed, why do we have to give our name and address to call and make a complaint? I mean, is there a reason? Because, I mean, you worry if you say something, I wouldn't, it's just me in my house. I don't want any repercussions, but, it's just a bad representation, some of what, not a lot, but.
No, that's a fair concern. Unfortunately, I don't know the background on this, and Mr. Church, feel free to cut me off if you have more insight or any other additional information. I think the crux of it is that we want to make sure that the inverse isn't true, that everything is totally fine, but it's a bad neighbor calling to report minuscule things or something along those lines. But to my knowledge, and Mr. Hogan, correct me if I'm wrong, that if you do call in to make a complaint, that information isn't ever disclosed to the property owner that is being complained against. I don't know what the exact phrase for that, but is that correct, Mr. Hogan? And was I up the right alley with why that is?
Yeah, because some of it is pretty evident just driving by. And these aren't people that I know, but.
Yeah,
anyway,
and it's certainly, not to discourage people from making those complaints. I mean, like you said, too, that it's oftentimes is quite obvious, upon arrival that, okay, something isn't up to snuff here. But from that same token, right, it just often takes a neighbor or someone who has to look at it more often to actually notice those things. So we don't do it to discourage those complaints or anything like that. I know that it is somewhat uncomfortable, and I've seen that before with neighbors myself, actually, where someone, walks in, unfortunately doesn't realize that they have to give their name and see someone that they know, and then they feel it's obviously a very awkward and uncomfortable thing, but it's to sort of prevent the inverse of complaints being filed against someone for no reason out of spite, which is kind of a chicken and egg situation.
Okay, I just wondered what it was. All right, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, good timing. I looked down and I saw that there was no time left, and I was like, wait, it didn't beep, but all right, cool. Any other members of the public wishing to speak here? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? No. All right. We are adjourned.
Good job.